Arsenal 2, PSG 0. Arsenal absolutely bullied PSG. And very, very comfortable win and a standard kind of European victory for Arsenal. Let's be completely real. It's been a rocky road in the last, 7 or 8 years. Being in the Champions League, coming out of it, being in the Europa League, and kind of some of these results for Arsenal, you never quite gauged where Arsenal were. And now in the couple of seasons that Arsenal have been in the Champions League under Arteta, there's this inevitability about what Arsenal do, particularly in their home games. Bukayo Saka today was absolutely sensational. 5 goals, 3 assists in 6 home games back in the Champions League for Arsenal. Obviously, his first few Champions League kind of performances for Arsenal as well. He was absolutely outstanding today, and there are so many things to take away from the game. Again, when you're actually breaking down some of these Champions League games, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, because a win for Arsenal was important, particularly with the Atalanta draw. But you never feel that PSG losing that game, even though it was quite convincing and a bit of a sour note, I'd suggest, they can still qualify quite easily. So it isn't this kind of massive dramatic video to talk about how PSG are crashing out of Europe or whatever, but it's more little observations about what we've seen for Arsenal today, where they just look over. An overview is they look a cut above PSG. Now PSG, for a lot of people, because of Luis Enrique's experience, because of maybe the turmoil of Kylian Mbappe not being at the club anymore and having these young players come in, Barcola in particular, who look decent in the game, Neves, Vitinha midfield, this kind of young, more organic and fresh French side has been a lot of dark horse suggestions for people predicting the Champions League winners. And I dare say it, I don't think they're going to get anywhere near winning the Champions League. I think at points got bullied. Arsenal have got 7 or 8 6'3" or above technical players. Calafiori today was fantastic. The 2 centre-backs, Partey and Rice. Obviously, Partey involved in that second goal. So there's this different dimension that, yes, when PSG got on the ball, Zaire-Emery were pulling strings here and there at moments. They don't have the legs, they don't have the quality to really disrupt the Arsenal back line. Arsenal just looked like that. It was just pushing them away, and they clipped in 2 goals. Good little goals in their own regard. We'll talk about the goals and obviously where it leaves Arsenal as well in the remainder of the video. But I just think an overview has to be that Arsenal's physicality, talked about so much in the Premier League title run in last season, talked so much going into this season. That kind of the defensive unit, David Raya pulled off a great save as well, is actually getting them over the line in so many games. The athleticism that this Arsenal side have, surely the most powerful Arsenal side since they had Emmanuel Petit and Patrick Vieira in the side, and the likes of Gilberto. I mean, this side are so powerful, so physical. Let's just talk about the first goal. The ball gets whipped in. Kai Havertz gets in between the 2 centre-backs and Donnarumma. Again, you always feel that PSG got this defensive lapse. They never quite understand some of these runs that maybe Premier League sides have to put in to kind of crack the code in Premier League results, if that makes sense. I think the Premier League is so intense that Arsenal have to put that extra legwork in terms of how good the delivery is, in terms of how good the running is to get in between centre-backs. That maybe in the French League, you don't quite get that. And the French centre-backs just look completely at all sorts. Really poor defensively. It really was. Marquinhos is usually such a good European-level centre-back. And Donnarumma, who had a poor game tonight, he really did. His distribution isn't great. And he should be claiming that, in my opinion, at the very least, punching it clear. But Kai Havertz gets in between, and he's popping up with his goals this season. He was last season. Big European goals. And from there, really, PSG, I don't think really troubled Arsenal once. I mean, there was a moment they broke on the right-hand side of the net, and obviously David Raya makes a great save. But it was chalk and cheese in the first half. It really was. It was a little bit embarrassing. And again, when you're analysing Champions League games, you don't know if that's PSG just not putting on the if that's PSG putting on the brakes a little bit, not needing to chase a victory massively. And that's a shame, because the PSG ultras go to Arsenal, they make it an event. They were absolutely fantastic from what I could see on the TV. And you're thinking, actually, PSG can come away from this 2-0 loss. Their fans won't be happy with it. The ownership won't be happy with it, and they can still qualify. So it's quite an interesting one dissecting this game. PSG losing this game last season would have been really critical in a group stage with Arsenal, and now it just doesn't feel that way. 35 minutes in, Bukayo Saka whips a ball in. Again, Thomas Partey is getting in between defenders, getting in front of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper makes a hash of it, let's be completely real. It's a great delivery from Saka, doing that little Harry Kane run-up. And that's been a massive facet of his game this season, let's be completely real. We always knew that Saka could cut in. whip something into the box, have a shot, play that inside ball into the fullback overlapping, of course. But now his delivery into the box is got more pace, more delivery. He's obviously been working on it. He's far more of a technical player. Maybe I've been guilty of labeling him more as a kind of physical winger that kind of just gets goals and is a bit more ruthless. Actually, he's got a lot of creativity to his game, and he can run the tempo of a football match. And he was doing that today, and everything went through Saka, really. He was absolutely fantastic. And then, look, the ball went in. I think there's a check for offside. And that's where we go from there. All in all, Arsenal in a very, very strong position. 4 points from 6. Clean sheet yet again in the Champions League. This kind of Arsenal rhetoric of them being the soft underbelly of Arsenal. We saw it when they played Bayern Munich, when they lost 10-2 a few years ago. That's just been completely dispelled. It wasn't a one-season wonder. They showed it last season against, was it PSV and Lens and sides like that? I think it was Seville. They've showed it last season massively that they've got this great defensive unit. Everyone wants to put a shift in. But now that they're really going at sides and commanding performances, last season PSG at home would have been a real nerve-wracking game for Arsenal fans. And now it just looks standard. They're playing this formation. It didn't change from the Leicester City 4-2 win. 4-2 win. It's kind of 4-4-2. It becomes a 4-4-2 when they're attacking and Trossard can run off. Kai Havertz can run off. Martinelli. They've almost got off the ball. It's kind of maybe a 4-2-3-1 at points with Trossard dropping into that number 10 role. But all in all, they're playing very, very attacking and this kind of free-flowing formation with Declan Rice and Thomas Partey linking up play very, very well. I thought Declan Rice stood out head and shoulders, literally, as well, not in terms of quality on the ball, but head and shoulders in terms of physicality. I mean, how is a PSG midfield, particularly Vitinha, who's about 5'5", how's he going to run through a Declan Rice, Thomas Partey midfield? It's going to work wonders for Arsenal, particularly in this early league format of the Champions League. Thomas Partey as well, very, very good today. The back four is obviously interesting because now it's been a couple of weeks where Calafiori's really been trusted at left back, and of course Jurrien Timber at right back. And Jurrien Timber, for me, absolutely fantastic. Calafiori, he gets beat by Hakimi once, but that's about it. I mean, this Arsenal side limit chances so few and far between. It's a clean sheet at home, and the back four are absolutely outstanding today. Couple of big mentions has to be for Martinelli and Trossard. Trossard's absolutely fantastic at this level, at finding space, linking up play. Maybe his goal record isn't the best in the world, whatever. But I think this is the perfect system for Arsenal at the moment. There will have to be rotation with Ben White coming in and out. There will probably have to be rotation with Thomas Partey, with obviously Odegaard when he comes back. Wanyeri's got more of a claim to be starting these kind of bigger games as well, particularly in the league. But all in all, this looks like the strongest lineup Arsenal have got. And Martinelli hasn't got the goals or assists in the last 20 games. He hasn't. But he offers a lot of balance. He offers a lot of pace on the left-hand side. He complements Saka massively. There's always an outball to Martinelli. He doesn't always waste it. We can definitely debate his level of execution, but he doesn't waste the ball. He really doesn't. It's a big win for Arsenal, 2-0 at home to the French champions. In years gone by, it would have been soft. It would have been hard. It would have been dramatic. And Arsenal have made it very, very clear, concise, and a 2-0 win in the Champions League for Arsenal. Looking very, very strong. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'll see you very, very soon.